Either of you two think that she's going to get back in the race?
She wishes she could. And I'm beginning to see rumors that she's basically positioning herself because she sees all these other people blowing up. She sees that what she's coaching Warren, but she knows Warren's going to blow up. So it's possible. But I don't know. She couldn't win last time, and she can't win this time.
I can see
well, speaking of blowing up, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I can see her wanting it. We know she wants it. It's been her life's ambition to be president. But I don't know. I mean, everybody would have to implode. I mean, even Kamala Harris is more appealing to the general population than perhaps Hillary Clinton would be. The only thing Hillary's got for her is she can almost win an election for president, but that's it.
It was very cringeworthy to see her say, sticking by Bill Clinton after all of his issues was the bravest thing she's ever done. And I just went, really? But that's getting off on another topic. Another question for you guys. First CD. Uh-oh, Steve's talking. I'm waiting. So the question is, who was going to run in the first CD against Pappas? Not a single Republican at this point has stepped forward. I've met up with Eddie Edwards a couple of times at different events, and he's being very, very coy, although he's starting to make the rounds now. Are anybody hearing anything else at this point, Mike?
No, all I've heard is that Eddie might, and it sounds like he's pretty slow about it. You know, maybe here's an opportunity. You know, we're all thinking Corey's teasing about the Senate run. What if Corey decided to go for CD1? I think he'd blow it out of the water, and he would avoid the potential bruising battle between O'Brien, who's a damn good candidate, and the general who appeals to some people.
I hadn't thought of that, but do you think, having talked about going for senator at this point, he's actually going to drop down a level? I mean, the field's wide open, and you're right about not having a primary, at least at this point in time. But, you know, Corey is very ambitious, to say the least, and he hasn't gotten to where he is by being unambitious. Being a congressman, you're one of 435. Being a senator, you're one of only 100. Still, one of 100 is not a big number, but I don't know. The easy money would say he'd probably go through as in CD1, but I can't see him stepping down after all of this talk at this point, especially where the folks behind that draft Corey website have put a little bit of money into that, and have gotten over 15,000 emails of support, or at least people who want to be kept up to date as to how this thing is going to play. And I already noticed that these operatives who put it together are already asking for a lot of money. They want $100,000. They wanted $100,000 by the end of the last month. I have no idea if they got it or not, but I don't know. Steve, your thoughts?
I don't think he will run in CD1. I think that given the numbers, he could possibly beat Jeanne Shaheen, and they want to beat Jeanne Shaheen. They think she can be taken. Him in the race makes it not a guaranteed win for her by any stretch. So I think that if the Trump people are doing the math and they want to save Senate seats and they want to go after seats they think they can take, Jeanne Shaheen is a good target. Corey Lewandowski is a good advocate for Trump to go after that seat. And if anybody's going to win, I mean, Trump didn't really lose the state in 2016. We know that. And if there's a little bit more motivation to come out and vote, then that vote trickles down to Corey because it's the next highest race on the ticket. And he can kick Jeanne Shaheen out of the Senate and retire her for good.
It's a good point. getting people to come out and vote. You're meaning conservatives slash Republicans slash Republican-leaning independents.
I'm talking about
What do you think?
undeclareds. I'm talking about independents. Those are the
Yep.
people who are the Trump voters. The Republicans are going to vote for him anyway. They just are. I don't even with his ties to Trump, the never Trumpers can't just say, well, I'm going to vote for Jeanne Shaheen. The Republicans for Shaheen will vote for Shaheen, but they're not really Republicans, so we don't have to worry about them. They're not going to vote for Corey or anybody else who runs for that seat on the Republican side.
What do you think about the Republican and the NHGOP? Are they doing the job that we think that they were supposed to be doing all along, and it's now that they're actually doing it?
I think they're doing a better job than they were. I don't know how much money they have. I haven't seen any fundraising. I know they've been much more aggressive about it. I think they have a lot more money than anybody previous, though I can't guarantee that. Again, I haven't seen the numbers, but it sounds like it. They are definitely way more active with town chairs and grassroots groups and people like us. We actually hear from them. They ask us what we think.
That's true.
Tell them what we think. They they ask us questions about coordinating with groups, and they just ask questions. People who are associated with the party say, hey, what's your thought on this? And we provide their thought, and they can take it or they can leave it. But they're actually asking us because they want to know what our readers think. They want to know what people who comment on our blogs and posts talk about. And so we just take that in because that's what we have. We take that information. We say, this is what we're hearing from your base. And so it's like a sample. And they appear to be reactive when they hear that. They understand and they want to do something. And it's just, I've been paying attention since 2008. And I remember when Joe Kenney ran for governor, and the state party wouldn't even put his sign in their freaking window. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And it's been like that for a very long time. Even during the Tea Party years, yes, Governor Sununu had a lot of enthusiasm that was organic, that had absolutely nothing to do with him, but he had the personality and the presence to be able to tap into it for the state party's advantage, which is not the same thing. The minute he left, everything went into the crapper again. So I would say that yes, I think Stepanek and Pam are doing a great job. I think that they've just gotten their feet wet. They've been at it for 6 months now, 7 months maybe, and so it bodes well for the next 10, 12 months.
Yeah, I get the impression they're doing a much better job. But as you say, the proof of the pudding will be in the candidates that they field, and then the money that they're able to put behind them, both individually or jointly for the party to bring out the vote. Couple of little bits that floated by my eyes today. Hillary's been stepping up her attacks on Trump as she sees the other leaders faltering, which again suggests that her ambition knows no bounds. Even if she doesn't have the capability to win, she's sure as heck going to have another go. No, I don't think Kamala Harris is the one that's going to appeal. She really doesn't appeal to people that much. She doesn't appeal to black voters that much because of her habit of putting black people in jail and using them as slaves for the state, literally. So
well,
I'm not sure where her appeal
Harris
comes
is an interesting
from.
case. I know some people who think she's the most dangerous candidate. I have never agreed with that, but apparently she has some very deep ties to some very large players in the Democrats, Socialists of America, to the global communists, to the unions, and they say, that they really like her and they think she'd be a great candidate. As a general candidate, so far she's been a lunatic. She's been nuts. She says things that make no sense. I'm not exactly sure what she's thinking. If she had approached this with a plan like Warren and with some composure, like say some of the other candidates, she would be in the top 3 or 4. She's like 5th or 6th. So, but even still, you're talking about the difference between being in the 20s and being in the single digits at this point, which is it's a pretty big difference. But a lot of people who pay a lot of attention to those sorts of things say that the communists and the socialists really like her as a candidate because she's very well connected to them. She's all in on their agenda. And if they would like very much to have her, maybe even as vice presidential candidate, and then, one of these older bastards could die And you know, because these people they aren't young at all. Nobody in the top tier is young. So poor Bernie just had a heart attack. You know, he got 2 stents a couple days ago. You know, his chances are dependent on whether or not there was a lot of damage or not, and how long he has to rehab. Because there's no way after a heart attack, if it was moderately serious, that you can go on a campaign trail, wave your arms around, stand in front of people for 45. It's just not going to happen. Not for 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks. So. And he's older. It'll take him longer to heal. He's a tough bastard. I give him a lot of credit. Even before he had his heart attack, he's been running around the planet, literally, and all over the nation twice in the last 10 years, trying to get himself elected. First, he was running against the Democrats. He may be running against the Democrats again. It's hard to say. But, you know, they like him. He's just so... Can you imagine? Just imagine you going out and doing that every day, 5, 10 stops. Large events, going. At the age of 78, I'm surprised he's still alive. I mean, I'm thankful that he survived his heart attack and got his stents, but my God, that is just crazy.
Well, I mean, obviously the stress of it all was too much for Hillary last time because they had to retire her to the back of the bus and stay off the stage a lot of the time. You know, I mean, compared to those two, just look at Trump. He's only a little younger than they are, and the guy bounds around the stage like Mick Jagger almost.
Well, a little bit more stately, but point taken. But he is in constant motion, and even his own staff say, in a lot of cases, we don't know how he does it. He gets like 3, maybe 4 hours of sleep a night, and then he's go. And he's willing to take on all comers and all things. And frankly, if again, looking at the impeachment, he is a master troller. They just, you know, why did my light just go out?
I don't know, but we only got a couple minutes left, so don't worry about it. You look fine. You're pink.
Yeah, great. The heat. You know, they were the Democrats on the committees were expecting a large haul of papers due on the impeachment stuff that they're working on, and instead he sent them lots of stuff on Hillary and Ukraine and Biden. I mean, what president would have the presence of mind to do that at any age? Master trolling.
It is. We just wrote about it. You can read about it at GrokTALK.com. We don't say GrokTALK.com.
We should hope so.
We should hope so. GrokTALK.com.
Oh. Okay. And I add one wrap-up point to my piece about Trump and the intelligence community. And that is, there's a law. The president's job is to ensure that the laws are faithfully executed, and the intelligence community has bent the laws by changing the rules to allow this leaker, spy, whistleblower, so-called, to make a report that has no substance. He simply needs to tell the intelligence community to faithfully execute the law, to comply with it. It is their duty. And why shouldn't he make them? Because it's his duty to do so. What do you think?
You're right. That's his job. The problem continues to be the Democrats and the media who have been ignoring the law on purpose, of course, not just in this case, sanctuary cities, sanctuary states, open borders, la. Hillary Clinton is a fine example of Democrats ignoring the law. Joe Biden is a fine example of Democrats ignoring the law. The law only applies when it gives them leverage, and maybe he uses this to once again make that point. I think he's been effective at it. I think he needs to continue being effective at it, because at the end of the day, people may begin to understand that if the laws don't apply to the special people and only apply to them, that the end of that story isn't very good for them, and their best vote would be to pick the guy who thinks that America is a great place and that it is a land of laws and that everybody is accountable to them, not just the people who aren't in power.
And I dryly note that New Hampshire State Representative Catherine, you want to hit me, don't you? Rogers has already put in the 5 first LSR's, legislative service request, to put in her same anti-gun, gun-grabbing bills, to which we need to print up a whole lot more T-shirts that say, "I will not comply."
We do. And with that, we have reached the end of our program. Mike, you want to say something? I can tell. I think I lost Mike. Oh, there you go.
No. Thought trailed off. It's okay. Wind it up. We'll have plenty to say next time.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and attention. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into GrokTALK. We will try to be back next week, but no guarantees. Good night.
Grok TV.